What are the parameters of an innovation in the Hanafi school?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين. So when I heard the question that Shaykh Osama answered, the sarcastic question, it's quite humorous, in which it was said, then make everything permissible. You know, you could do mawlid and everything like that. The moment I heard that question, I'm thinking in my mind, what were you listening to this whole session? That's the question. You have a hadith that use the word bid'ah. You have other ahadith that say only that newly affair is rejected that's not from the deen. What is all of this saying? That the definition that bid'ah is limited to only that which is blameworthy contradicts with the sunnah, with the practice of the sahaba. That's the whole problem. So when we have positions and we hear another person's position, listen to it. If you're not going to listen to it, your question's not going to be intelligent in regards to what's being discussed. That's the whole question. Bid'ah is not limited to only that which is blameworthy. But as all of us mentioned, this does not mean that every bid'ah is good. There are those acts of bid'ah that are not permissible. So, as the question was asked right now, for the Hanafis, what are the parameters? The general principle is anything that coincides with the Quran and the Sunnah is permissible. If people do dhikr, Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu dhkurullah dhikran kathira. O people of Iman, do much dhikr. Al-hukm al-mutlaq yajri ala itlaqih. A general command is applied generally. This is a verse of the Quran. You cannot add specificity to the verse of the Quran on your own. You need evidences to add specificity to general commands of the Quran. So if you say this form of dhikr is impermissible, the evidence you have to give. Al-bayyinatu ala al-mudda'i. The person who is making the claim, you're saying it's impermissible. There's a general verse of the Quran that says adhkar are permissible generally. If you say it's prohibited, you're adding specificity to it. The Quran, only shari', the shari' is referring to Allah and the Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Only they can add stipulations or specificity to something that is general, broad in what's being conveyed in the Quran. Al-Allama ibn Abidin, he mentions, and all four schools of fiqh are talking about this as we had our discussion today. You have those bid'ahs that are wajib, you must do them. You have those that are recommended, like establishing madaris, having a curriculum of Islamic studies. You have those that are permissible, eating well, that's permissible. You have those that are disliked. Al-Allama ibn Abidin mentions that if the masjid is being glamorized through community resources at the expense of greater principles, greater objectives, he says that's disliked. You have those acts of bid'ah that are prohibited. In aqaid, in this one hadith, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar is told that a person is conveying salam to you. And he says, I'm not going to respond to his salam because he invented affairs in the deen by being from the people of Ahlul Qadr, those people who deny destiny, who say Allah does not have power over the actions of people. I'm not going to respond to them. This is a bid'ah. This is a haram bid'ah. And I mentioned, and one of my friends, he told me, he says, you mentioned weddings in masajid. What did you mean by that? I was at a masjid and you had a non-Muslim woman who came in. She was the person who was recording. She was wearing a skirt. Her legs were bare. I've been to masajid where people are pushed out of the masjid because of the nikah in the masjid. This is a newly invented affair that's clashing with the Quran and the Sunnah. In the masjid, there was a time when even women who did not wear hijab, when the adhan would go, they would cover their heads. And now in the masajid, we all see this in our masajid increasingly. That's why I bring it up. Some people may not like it. But increasingly, as we do weddings in our masajid, scarves are not worn, arms are bare, necks are bare. This is not permissible. This is a newly invented affair that's clashing with the Quran and the Sunnah. I'm not saying weddings. I'm saying the way that we're doing is bid'ah. People don't realize when you do weddings like this and you're forcing everyone to come, there are some people at certain times of the month, it's not allowed for them to come in the Ainul Masjid, to come in the masjid. But because of doing weddings in this bid'ati form, they're compelled to come to the masjid as well. So there are haram bid'ah. No one is denying that. And we're going to call out people against it. That's our responsibility. We're accountable for that. So no one, once again, listen to what's being said. Even if you disagree at the end of it, but at least be fair in your disagreement. May Allah Azza wa Jal guide us all.